Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. As always, your host with the most, Ghost. We got episode number 10 here today, guys, of the Attitude Era review series. Breakdown in Your House 1998. Pretty good show, I guess. Before we get into it and down to business, take some time and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's been a while since I, made a video or a review of some sort. Might have my SummerSlam thoughts later on tonight, but who knows. So this show was from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, at the Cops Coliseum, September 27th, 1998. 17,405 in attendance for Breakdown in Your House. The next couple events would be leading up into Survivor Series. We all know the tournament would be to crown a new World Wrestling Federation champion. So, this is quite an interesting show, I'll say that much, but we had 9 matches this evening. Couple of great matches here and a lot of filler leading up into the main event. I'll put it that way, guys. So we open up with Edge versus Owen Hart. And Edge, I believe, is the undefeated rookie here. And this was a good opener for the show. I'll get into this a little bit later on, but for the most part, this was 2 Canadians going at it. Owen Hart comes out with the Toronto Argonauts, which is a CFL team jersey on. And, during the match, we get a Bret Hart mention while Owen Hart does a victory roll on the Edge, saying Owen Hart, beat Bret at WrestleMania 10 a couple of years ago. So this is a good back and forth match on the, I think it was the Edge DVD there. Edge says, he was going to be in the ring with Owen. He wanted to, see if he could do a couple of things. And Owen said, sure. So I like the match. I'm a big fan of both guys. So Owen attempts the sharpshooter later on in the match. Huge pop for the sharpshooter. Edge does quickly kick out of it, though. Christian appears, ringside, and JR or the King, they say, oh, it looks like a fan came over the guardrail, get security here. And Edge is like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? Owen Hart rolls up Edge for the 3 count, and Edge is all confused, so we got a distraction roll up leading up here. Kind of a weird finish. I would have liked to see just a sharpshooter victory here. I guess they really wanted to protect Edge. This would be the little bit of lead up into the Brood angle here. Second match of the night, Al Snow and Scorpio, he's named here, versus Too Much, Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor. So this is a weird kind of a tag team match here, where, the referee is letting a lot of stuff go, and they're building up to this ECW kind of style here. This is a little bit before the Hardcore Championship, so Al Snow grabs a chair at one point early on in the match, he sets it up kind of like Sabu would do, and he jumps off it, does a heel kick in the corner to one of the guys, and then Scorp tries to do the same thing, but he kind of slips off the edge of the chair, but he still connects his kick. You know, very dangerous, very dangerous. You know, if he would have landed the wrong way, he could have, you know, snapped his ankle, broke his leg, anything. So Scorp's battling one of the guys of Too Much on the inside. Al Snow's battling on the outside. He does a moonsault off the security barricade on I think it was Brian on the outside, not too sure. But Scorp hits a big splash and kind of picks Brian up after a count of 2. Al Snow hits everyone with head, including Scorpio, and the referee is, you know, blinded by this while he's trying to get one of the guys back out. So Brian Christopher hits a top rope leg drop on Al Snow for a count of 2, and Al Snow hits the snowplow for a 3 count, winning the match. So after that match, we go backstage with Michael Cole interviewing The Undertaker and Kane. And, you know, we really didn't get much out of this interview besides, you know, Michael Cole trying to get the dirt on what's going on here with Undertaker and Kane. What's their plan? Who's going to be the one to get the fall? And Undertaker's not letting Cole know anything here. So we got Droz versus Mark Mero. And on the case here it says, the battle between the youth and experience. But this was a fairly quick match. Nothing too special here, but you know, we did see the beautiful Jackie out here, who was the new WWF Women's Champion here. I believe she defeated Sable on the Raw prior to this, so 6 days into her run as champion. She didn't even have the title belt with her. I don't know why, but you know, at one point Jackie hits Droz with her high heel. Mero, I believe he was, you know, debuting his new finisher here, which is a shooting star press. They dubbed it the Mero something Meroth. It was like Mero Velocity or something like that. Weird name. I couldn't even remember it. I should have written it down, but a decent match, but it was pretty quick here. You know, no Sable at this point in time. I don't even think she was on the show at all. Vader versus Bradshaw. And, you know, this was another quick squash match for Vader. You know, at the beginning of the year, like at the Royal Rumble, and I don't think Vader was even at WrestleMania 14 either. But anyways, you know, Vader has just been on the downside of things the second half of this year. Not doing too well. He hasn't been picking up much wins here and there, but while the guys are making their entrance to the ring, it's announced that this is a Falls Count Anywhere, no disqualification match. So earlier on, they're battling in and out of the ring. They're around the announce desk. Bradshaw, you know, kind of takes the edge of the ring bell and rams it into Vader's jaw. Nasty shot. You know, Vader gets Bradshaw back in the ring, hits a splash off, I think, the middle rope. Then he hits the Vader bomb for only a count of 2. Bradshaw gets the shoulder up and kicks out. Bradshaw then gets Vader up, hits 2 vicious clothesline from hell, and then he hits a neck breaker, picking up the win here. You know, I don't know if Vader's on the way out here. I'm pretty sure he is. He didn't appear too much after this. 5th match of the night, and they did a horrible job of editing this, because first you see a shot of Vader in the ring, and right away it cuts to D'Lo Brown making his entrance. So D'Lo Brown versus Gangrel, they had a pretty decent match here. I would say it was good. D'Lo hits a running power bomb. Good back and forth early on in a match. Henry appears out of nowhere, and Gangrel is distracted from Mark Henry. So D'Lo hits the sky high for the 3 count, and this is announced as Gangrel's first loss. JR is repeatedly saying that soon Edge will be home. And I believe this is all in reference to the Brood stuff. You know, and during the match, King says that Canada must be behind the times because we see a Hulkamania sign out in the crowd. Kind of weird. And I believe this is where the show really started to pick up. You know, those first couple of matches can just, you know, drag on, but they did seem to go pretty quickly. Next up, we got a triple threat steel cage match for the #1 contendership that will face the winner of the triple threat match later on in the night. So this, I would say this is a pretty good triple threat steel cage match. We don't really see many of them. You know, they're usually one-on-one or tag team. But if you look at this cage, it's the, you know, old school blue bar steel cage match. And then it has the newer upper part of it where it's got like that steel part, which is, I think, like an apparatus to, you know, hold the motors up and down, but right there, you know, it's pretty weird. But so earlier on in the match, by the way, The Rock was super over at this point. He'd finally, you know, is gaining all these cheers now. After that SummerSlam match with Triple H and that feud of the summer with Triple H over the IC title, The Rock is, you know, somewhat turned babyface now. He cut a great promo before the match. So Rock and Shamrock are battling it out once again in a match on pay-per-view. This time they added Foley in to mix it up. So Rock and Shamrock are going at it at the beginning of the match. And while they're doing that, Mick Foley is trying to, you know, sneak his way out of the door, out of the cage. And, you know, Rock and Shamrock turn around. They beat up Mick Foley down. And, wow. So at one point in the match, Shamrock gets a abdominal stretch on Foley. Rock comes back, hits the abdominal stretch on Shamrock. We got a double abdominal stretch here. This is awesome. So Rock ends up hitting a double people's elbow at one point. Pulls both elbow pads off. Pretty cool. We got all three back up. Foley getting to the top of the cage. And The Rock gets knocked down. Mick tries to jump off. He thinks he's Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Rock moves out of the way. Mick misses that elbow drop there. So Ken tries to go out the door. Mick stops him. And there must have been a chair there that the ref was sitting on or whatever. And Shamrock grabs that. Bashes in Foley's skull. And Foley is climbing the top of the cage. He's on the other side of the cage, about to climb down and win the match. Rock covers Shamrock for the 3 count, and Mick Foley thinks he's won the match. Rock is the official winner of the match, and you know, during this match we get a Bizarro World call from Jerry Lawler, which you know, these fans were cheering the Rock, who I believe was still technically a heel. And anytime they would double team the Rock, Mankind and Shamrock would double team the Rock, they would boo. They would boo. But the Rock was finally getting over. Awesome. I thought this match was pretty good. I wasn't know what to expect. 7th match of the night, Val Venis versus the Preacher, Dustin Runnels. I just thought this was a bad spot on the card for a decent match. So this was the whole storyline that we seen at Fully Loaded there with the Messiah was coming with Dustin Runnels promo there, and I really wasn't a fan of this stuff with Dustin and all that. But Val Venis is with Terry Runnels here, and man, does she ever look so good. She's wearing a blue lingerie here, and wow. So Val Venis has the upper hand most of the match. He hits a power slam and various moves on Dustin. And I don't know what it was. Dustin was out of it, or these guys didn't just have chemistry. Who knows? But Val Venis ends up hitting the money shot, winning the match. And then he makes out with Terry when the match is over in the middle of the ring. So kind of a weird match, a bad spot here, but I don't know. 8th match of the night is a 6-man tag team war. We got Double J, Jeff Jarrett, and Southern Justice taking on DX, the New Age Outlaws, and X-Pac here. So Jeff Jarrett is sporting a new haircut and some new ring gear. This was a good 6-man tag match. And while Southern Justice and Jarrett are in the ring, X-Pac comes down. The Outlaws music hit, and they jump Jarrett and Justice from behind. So Billy Gunn tries to get the guitar, smash Jarrett over the head with it. Referee Tim White takes the guitar away, throws it out of the ring. Jarrett grabs it, smashes X-Pac over the head with the guitar. Billy hits the Fameasser for the win. And X-Pac looks like he has some sort of eye injury here. Maybe that pieces of wood splinters got in his eye, but fairly decent match. I love DX around this time. When they were the strongest around this time. They got the big push they definitely needed. I think X-Pac was the European champion. The Outlaws were the tag champs. I believe the reason why they did the little Outlaws jumping them from behind was Road Dogg had some sort of throat issues with his maybe his tonsils or whatever, but they didn't cut the promo before the match, and they jumped him from behind. So I think that was part of the reason why they did the different like that. So, and then the main event for the World Wrestling Federation Championship, a triple threat match between Stone Cold Steve Austin, the reigning defending champion, going against the Undertaker and Kane, the Demons of Destruction, which they were nicknamed here. This was a glorified handicap match, as we would see in the video package. Undertaker could not pin Kane, and Kane could not pin the Undertaker. Weird match. I really liked it, though. I liked that main event. You know, it's like the undercards, you know, were very decent around this time. Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit better. But the main event scene from WWE in the late 90s, early 2000s, they just rocked everything else. So Taker and Kane were beating down Austin most of the match. And, you know, this was getting so much heat. And the times Austin would come back, he would come back. And he just couldn't overcome it. Let's face it. So Taker and Kane do get into it a few times. I believe, you know, Austin ducked and Kane hit Taker. One point when Taker goes to pin Austin, Kane pulls off Taker. They get into it, and eventually they do get back on the same page. Double choke slam to Stone Cold Steve Austin. Double pin. 1, 2, 3. And while Howard Finkel says we have a new WWF champion, the referee never gives the official result. We never get an official, you know, announcement from the Howard there. And Jerry Briscoe and Patterson and Slaughter were at the entrance ramp the whole time. And they had to report back to McMahon. While the referee is going to grab the title and hand it to Undertaker or Kane, Briscoe runs down, grabs the Smoking Skull title, runs back, hands it to Vince. Vince runs out of the arena. Austin is chasing down Vince on his way. He's beating up Briscoe, he's beating up Patterson, he's beating up Slaughter. Vince is already at his limo waiting for Austin. Austin is, you know, maybe 40, 50 yards away. We get the famous line that, it's mine, Austin, it's mine. And McMahon gives his crooked middle finger like he doesn't know how to, you know, give a middle finger. And we go off the air like that. McMahon drives away in the white limousine. Austin is no longer the WWF champion. Thank you guys for all watching the review today. Take some time and subscribe, guys. This has been a little review of Breakdown 1998. You know, I recently picked this up just to review it. It was one of those tapes that have been missing from my collection for quite some time. We'll talk to you guys later. Stay tuned. Episode 11 will be Judgment Day 1998 from October. We'll talk to you later. Peace! So, here's a little close-up of the box art, the Triple Threat main event. There's that cage I was talking about. We'll talk to you guys later. Peace.